So from Nintendo Enthusiast, prior to the launch of Switch Online, Nintendo had detailed some of the classic NES games coming to the platform. These titles can be found in the Nintendo Entertainment System area once you are subscribed to the service. However, we were previously led to believe that there are only 3 titles being added the month of October. Those 3 being Solomon's Key, NES Open Tournament Golf, and Super Dodgeball. There is now a 4th promise games coming in the form of The Legend of Zelda SP. This game is also known as The Legend of Zelda, Living the Life of Luxury. So is that it? It's just, they're just talking about how...
Well, yeah, so it's a hacked ROM, gives you all of the items from the beginning, gives you all of the power-ups, gives you a whole bunch of rupees and everything to make it a lot easier for fans. So...
Yeah, so there it is. It's like, so you might be wondering, what's the difference between the SP and the standard version of the game? When starting the game for The Legend of Zelda SP, according to the description, you'll already have a sack full of rupees, white sword, the magical shield, power bracelet, and blue ring. Although this isn't exactly game-changing, it does offer access to anyone who's looking to pick up the classic title without many of the frustrations and challenges that are visible in the original version. Which makes sense. We all watched Daniel play through that, and oh man, did he suffer. Not as much as he suffered through Zelda 2, but he suffered.
Yeah. So, first off, I want to ask, what's everyone's thoughts on this? Because Ilya, you've mentioned a few times how you kind of got stuck, not knowing exactly where to go for the dungeons. So,
well,
with
this... the map thing, I just need to get a map. I haven't found a dungeon yet.
Yeah, but with this, like, so in the original game, you can kind of go to any dungeon that you want to, but you do need to go out and find the items that you would need to access the dungeon or use to destroy the enemies in that dungeon. But with this, you can go to any dungeon, so nothing's off limits. You can literally go into any dungeon, not have to worry about anything, because they're all virtually going to be around the same difficulty. So, your thoughts on this? And the second question is, can you think of another NES or Super Nintendo game that you would like them to release this kind of hack for in the future? Like, Daniel was having a lot of trouble in Zelda 2, so if they did this exact same thing for Zelda 2 next month or in the coming months, it would make Daniel's life a lot easier. He wouldn't be dying every time he starts the temple over.
Oh my gosh. Well,
if you're watching, Daniel, no, we're not hating.
He knows it. But I mean, like, I joke, like, oh yeah, this would make it so much easier for me, when really the main thing I need is an app. I don't know if I would actually want to use this version, but I'm not necessarily, like, upset that this version exists. I know we've all heard of people that are like, oh, that's so dumb. You're ruining the original Zelda. It's like, it's not like you can't get the original.
Yeah, you can literally
You're not replacing it.
Click over and play the original.
Yeah.
I know, and so people need to calm down about that. People, it's always the fan base. We just need to chill out. They know what they're doing. So I think it's cool. I think it would be good for other players that are, like me, intimidated by the original Zelda. I personally would rather play it the way it's kind of meant to be played, because I think this kind of hacking is different than what they did for, like, Ocarina of Time: Majora's Mask. Like, Ocarina of Time, they made it so that you could equip your boots rather than having to go to the start menu and constantly change your boots in the water temple. That was like a fix, whereas this is more of a hack, just meant to make everything super duper easy. So I don't know if I would want to do it, but I can see it working out for a lot of people. As far as other games I'd want to be done for, I don't know a ton of NES or Super NES games. The only game I literally remember playing on the Super Nintendo was Mario Paint, and I don't think that needs this kind of treatment. Just Mario Paint. So, yeah, that's it from me.
All right, Choops.
I think that this is good and useful for anyone younger that wants to try playing it. Personally, I wouldn't play this version because I won't even play the other version of it. I would rather watch other people play it than try to play it myself because I'm not very interested in playing the first Zelda game. It's like I don't like the soundtrack. I don't like the way it looks. I don't like anything about it. It's just I tried when I first got my NES and it's just not my thing, so I think I will stick to just watching other people play it until then. But I'm always all for allowing younger generations to enjoy the games that we did enjoy.
All right. And were there any other games that you would like to see this treatment with?
Definitely Zelda 2. Zelda 2, I feel like I could actually go and play that game. Seems a little bit more magical, but a little bit more terrible. So I think that it could really use a little bit of help with that.
All right. I guess mine would be, I would like to see them do this with Zelda 2 as well, but I would also, I think, so there's games like Contra that people use the famous Konami code for, and they basically unlock everything anyways. So I'm not sure if, like, I can't really think of other games that would be good because I know it's not replacing the game, but for me a lot of the fun does come from like figuring it out yourself. Like if you try to get through a dungeon 3 or 4 times and you fail and then you play it that 5th time and you make it through, that's what makes you feel great about it, like you accomplished something. So if they just give you everything for you to go out and do that with, then I could see why people are kind of against this. But at the same time, for like the 5-year-old or the 6-year-old who may have played a little bit of Breath of the Wild and they want to experience the first Zelda game, giving them the ability to like freely roam around the world of Hyrule in the first Zelda game to discover all of the stuff themselves without having to worry about dying every time they get to the next screen, I think that's really good because it might encourage them once they are able to like go around the world and figure out how the game mechanics work. Maybe that will encourage them to go to the original version and be like, okay, I think I can do this now that I actually understand how to play it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So with that, I believe we can move on to Mario Sunshine, or...
I have a quick thought about the Mario Sunshine thing. We definitely did that like 3 podcasts ago.
We did?
Are you sure?
Definitely did.
I know we discussed doing it, and then we changed our minds. Did we?
I thought we were going to do something else, and then we changed our minds to Super Mario Sunshine, because it was the only one that you and I had actually played.
I thought that was the time we brought Gibbs on and ended up doing Animal Crossing. Unless there was another time where we changed it. But I also haven't been on it.
Oh, maybe we didn't do it then, because I totally forgot about the Animal Crossing thing.
Because if y'all did it, I definitely wasn't on, because I don't remember saying what I liked and didn't like about it.
Oh, yeah. Okay, no, we didn't. Yeah, you're right. We switched it from Sunshine to Animal Crossing. Okay. We good.
Woo!
We good. Let's do this.
Okay.
Jesse, it's okay.
Alright. I was immediately trying to think of something else that we could
I just
do.
had to like
wheels all of a sudden started turning. Wait.
I just had to like verbally work that out because I was like, didn't we already do that? And then like talking to Ilya, I was like, no, we didn't.
My toe still feels broke.
You should
I'm
go get that
afraid
checked
when
out.
the podcast ends, I'm gonna take off my sock and my toe's just gonna be black. Or like
Then you would need to go somewhere.
my toe will
I've
just
lost a
fall
toenail
off.
once. It's no big deal.
Yeah.
Oh. I broke my ankle once.
Oh.
Or, so, since it is close to Halloween, how would you guys feel about Luigi's Mansion?
I've never played it.
No?
I watched my brothers play it. But that would have been perfect. I can listen to
Buying
y'all
the
talk about it,
3DS
like,
version.
since it is close to Halloween. I wouldn't mind just listening to y'all talk about it. Convince me to play it.
Actually, fun fact, I'm doing a kind of Luigi's Mansion based event coming up pretty soon.
Oh. So, Chubes, do you want to do Luigi's Mansion?
Yeah, convince me to play it.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah, we did.
Alright, so we'll do 2 each, and then Ilya can just say, from watching people play it or what she knows about it, what she thinks might be her favorite or worst, whatever. Yeah?
Okay.
Okay.
You gonna do an intro? Are you thinking over
I
there?
also need to grab something real quick.
Are you doing a big old think over there?
I suck at this. So.
Hey, man.
I bought
got
Luigi's
nothing.
Mansion for the 3DS a few days ago. Yes, it's great. Luigi's Mansion movie directed by Tim Burton. Oh, that would be interesting.
I'd be a little bit concerned about how they would make Luigi's face look, because you know how Tim Burton does things animated.
Yeah. They'd make him like 50 pounds less, so he looks super skinny.
Very skinny. He'd probably almost look like Waluigi, but not quite.
Like a shorter Waluigi.
Fun fact: not tall enough to be Luigi because you have to be 5'6". I'm 5'7". I'm just a little bit too tall to be Luigi.
So, in Super Mario Maker, there's like that weird skinny Mario. That was like a glitch. Do you know what I'm talking about? And then they made it a real character. Like, that thing looks so scary. John could voice him. He played Luigi in the Mario movie.
Why would John voice him? Because we know anything that Tim Burton does, it has Johnny Depp.
Yeah, it'd be the other John.
Yeah.
Hi, Ilya.
I'm back.
Hi.
I just noticed I liked your blanket on the wall. Is that a blanket? I don't know.
It's a banner.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
It's basically a blanket. You could wear that.
Christian Bale, pianist method. Luigi's 5'8".
My life.
So is he 5'6" or 5'8"?
Well, our costume is 5'6".
This is the real question. Wait, can you tell us about the Luigi thing? The Luigi's Mansion thing? Yes, no, maybe, never mind. All right.
I think I can, because it's not really secret. We're just we're doing an event. Luigi will be there, and then we have like tables set up, and it's basically just so like kids that aren't able to go trick or treating because they're sick can trick or treat with us. So we'll probably have candy and play video games.
Oh, that's
gonna be it's gonna be a lot of fun. Yeah, come to Canada.
Am I gonna be too old to enjoy this?
You could be like, hey, I'm a Nintendo brand ambassador.
Yeah. Like, go back to America. Ron Perlman as Bowser. Yeah. I mean, if they did like a live action
I think he means
thing.
Ron Perlman is King Boo.
What? As King Boo?
Because he says Johnny Depp could be Bowser.
Oh.
What did I miss? All I did was grab a thing.
We were talking about if Tim Burton did a Luigi's Mansion movie.
I could see it.
Yeah, I wonder who they're gonna get to voice the Mario people in the Mario movie they're actually making.
It should be the guy who voices Mario and everyone.
You'd think so.
That would be a big job for him.
That would be, because you have to voice at least 5 of the characters.
Yeah, he'd just be like, please cast someone else.
I mean, he has to at least do Mario.
Yeah, the paycheck would be really good as well. He'd be getting like $1 million.
He'd be exhausted, though. Imagine how many recordings that would be. It's not just like, oh, I gotta go. You're gonna come in Monday and Tuesday for Mario, Wednesday and Thursday for Luigi, and each of those days. Like,
we actually, so I dressed up as Waluigi for Fan Expo because Charles was supposed to be there, but he ended up canceling.
Oh.
Yeah, so thankfully I had a Wario with me, otherwise it would have been a very sad day.
All right, you guys ready?
Let's do this.
Hello everyone and welcome. I am Jesse, or GameOverJesse as all of you may know me. Here with us is Chablima and Ilya, our partners here on the podcast. Today we're going to be talking about our favorite things about Luigi's Mansion for, I guess now the Nintendo 3DS and the GameCube. Oddly enough, the GameCube was one of the only Nintendo consoles that didn't release with the Mario game. Instead, his brother made his first appearance in his own game, which is really cool. So in this video, we're going to be talking about all of the things that we love about it. Think of it as like the top 5 or whatever, best of Luigi's Mansion. And after this, we'll have another video going over all of the things that we hate or would change. So, starting us off, Tubes, what do you have for us? What is your favorite part or favorite thing about Luigi's Mansion? This could be the GameCube and the 3DS version.
I'm thinking about buying the 3DS version because I haven't actually, I haven't gotten it yet. I also haven't played the GameCube version in a long time because, as I've mentioned before, I had it on GameCube and I have replayed it like so many times. And I went over to a friend's place with my game case, and lo and behold, my Luigi's Mansion never came back. So I'm thinking that they stole it. Yeah. One thing that I really liked about Luigi's Mansion is, like, there's a lot going on within the mansion that you can interact with. Like, it's not just like you have your different goals that you're going towards. It's like you can kind of do everything at your own pace a little bit, and you kind of like, you walk into a room and it's like, oh, you can water the plant with your vacuum cleaner. That sounds kind of weird, but whatever. And they have the warp zones, which is really cool. You go up to a mirror and you look at it, and boom, you're in a different place. And that's one thing that I really liked about Luigi's Mansion. I felt like it was just like really thought out and like just like a fully fleshed out game.
Yeah, and it wasn't, although it was like kind of sold to us as like a horror Mario game, there's a lot of really funny comedy in it as well. Like you Speaking of ghosts, Tubes has been haunted herself. No, so
which poster fell?
The one beside the arrow.
And now she froze.
Yeah. She's being super haunted.
Okay, continue.
We're waiting on you to unfreeze.
Yeah.
It's just... Tubes? Hello?
In the words of Megamind, Olo. Watched that the other day.
I have yet to watch that. I've wanted
It's
to.
so funny, surprisingly, even though I don't like Will Ferrell.
Aww. Why not?
He annoys me.
Oh.
He annoys me. I like Elf, though. Again, weird,
Elf is
because I don't
really
like Will
funny.
Ferrell. Elf is a classic.
She's back!
I'm so
There
sorry.
she is.
Apparently the ghost attacked and it also attacked my internet. Hello.
Yeah. Alright, so my favorite part of Luigi's Mansion is just how different it is. Like, if you would say, hey, GameCube, like if Nintendo, Miyamoto, everyone, Fuji, whatever, came to me and was like, hey Jesse, we're a big fan of what you do. The GameCube's coming out. We're working on a Mario game for it, but it's not going to be done until like 2 years after the GameCube releases. So we need some ideas. What can we do with Mario's brother to give him his own game? A lot of people would have thought of what they did on the Wii U with New Super Luigi U, which was literally just Mario with Luigi. I don't think I would have ever thought of doing like a spooky, scary Luigi's Mansion style game. That would have been one of the last things that I thought of, but I think it worked so well. And like I had mentioned, the comedy aspect of it, there's a lot of comedy in the game where it's not just ghosts trying to scare you, but whenever you start to catch a ghost with the vacuum cleaner, they like freak out and start like flying all over the place, and they'll like knock stuff off the walls or off the tables and things, and like it's just really hectic. And I think it's really good. And then some of the boss ghosts they have are like shaped a bit different, or like shaped a bit funny, like they're baby ghosts or parent ghosts or whatever. I just like the overall theme of the game, to where they make it so that it's not just spooky scary, but it is a lot of comedy as well.
And yeah, like you said about like the different shapes, like it's not just Boo. You're not in there hunting a bunch of different Boo characters. You're actually hunting like actual ghosts of the mansion, which I think is really cool.
Yeah. All right, Ilya, who has not played the game, but you have seen other people play the game, and you know a lot about it. I'm sure you've seen trailers and stuff, especially for the 3DS version. So what is your favorite part about the game? What makes you want to go out and play it?
I would say the fact that it's not a spin-off Mario game. I wouldn't, based on what I know of it, I wouldn't call it a spin-off Mario game, because it has a lot of the elements, I think, of main Mario games, except they just centered it around his brother, and therefore everything else fell in place to be different in that sense. The story's different. You're instead of moving this guy who jumps around and is very brave and trying to win over Peach or whatever, save Peach, you're playing as this guy who is really scared and really timid, and so I'm trying to figure out where I'm going with this. That is an attractive quality to me, in that like it's a Mario game but totally different. And what makes it different is something that I actually relate to a lot, because I was always that kid that, even though it was just a video game, I would get freaked out when I would go into certain dungeons in Zelda and stuff, and I'd be like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna die, and this is crazy, what am I gonna do? Things like that. And to be like playing as Luigi in Luigi's Mansion, it's like, oh, he's scared too, and it's almost like so funny that you're not worried about it, I imagine. So I don't know if that made any sense, but that's something that seems really cool to me. It's a Mario game, but it's not. It's its own thing, and it seems like it's done really well.
I also like that Mario is the damsel in distress this game.
Oh yeah. So another thing that I thought of is that with the Ubisoft, actually whenever Nintendo has been letting a third party work with their characters, especially lately, like with Hyrule Warriors, they told them that they could make whatever type of Zelda game they wanted, or do whatever they wanted to do in the crossover, but they could not have traditional dungeons, because Aonuma wanted them to make the type of Zelda game that he wouldn't be able to. And obviously, if he makes a Zelda game, it has to have some sort of dungeon. So he said that that was the one thing that they couldn't do. And similarly with Ubisoft, Miyamoto told them, you can make whatever type of Mario game you want, but the main focus or the main gameplay mechanic cannot be him jumping. And in this game, Luigi's Mansion, that's something that it also has. Although it's not made by a third party, it's still a first party game, but there's no jumping in it. So I think they did a lot to make it seem very different from traditional Mario games, because in this game there is really no jumping. Like I think Luigi kind of like hops in the air when he gets scared sometimes, but yeah. Anyways, Choobs, what is your next thing?
100% the soundtrack in Luigi's Mansion.
Yes.
I get that main theme stuck in my head all the time, and also the way that Luigi goes, Mario, Mario.
It's so sad.
Yeah, the way that they did like the soundtrack and like the different sound effects in that game were really well done. But I mean, what else do I expect from Nintendo after all?
I almost forgot about the music. I really love that main theme.
Yeah.
Alright, so my next favorite thing, and I guess this is the last thing before we move on to the things that we would have changed, and this kind of goes along with that. So Luigi's Mansion is a very fun game, but what I always thought would make it more fun, what I think would make almost any game more fun, is to experience it with a friend. And with Luigi's Mansion on the 3DS, they did that. You have like Luigi or whatever his name is. So yeah, it's just really great. You have like a ghost Luigi that you can play the game with, like you and a friend. Even if they don't own the game, you can do that download play thing, and it's really cool. So I would have to go with the multiplayer functionality. And I have a theory in my head. It's probably not true, but I like the idea of Nintendo putting the multiplayer in this Luigi's Mansion game to see what the fan response is, because they'd also announced Luigi's Mansion 3. So if the fans love the multiplayer aspect, maybe Luigi's Mansion 3 will have like a true multiplayer aspect and not just someone playing as the ghost version of Luigi. And then you will have maybe Mario joining as well, and especially with the big push in online multiplayer, hopefully it wouldn't just be couch co-op, it would actually be full-on online multiplayer to where I could play as Luigi, and then for once Mario is the second player. So it's just my thought, and with that we can move on to the things we hate. Are you guys ready? Although there's probably not much that I hate about Luigi.
I was gonna say, I'm like I started thinking about it the minute that I finished my last answer. I was like, I don't know what I don't like about this game.
This will be a short video.
Still distraught.
You guys ready?
Yep.
Hello everyone, I am Jesse, or GameOverJesse. Here with us is Ilya and Chablima. We're going to be talking about our biggest dislikes or hates, or just things that we would change about Luigi's Mansion. It recently had a remake for the Nintendo 3DS where it's seen one of the big changes that I always wanted, which was multiplayer. So we're going to be talking about some of the other things that were our least favorite, or things that we hated or wished that we also could have changed about the original game, and maybe even the 3DS version. Before you start commenting saying that we're just hating on Luigi's Mansion, we also have a video up of us discussing all of the things that we love about Luigi's Mansion. So starting us off this time, once again, Chablima. Can you think of anything that you disliked about the original that you would have changed?
Ooh, the one thing that I can think of, the entirety of EGAD, I think his name was, right? The guy that makes all the stuff.
He's amazing.
I like him. No, I like him as a person. But I felt like the entirety of like leaving the mansion to go talk to him was very long and drawn out.
Oh, yeah.
And that was probably my least favorite part of that entire game. I was like, oh great, I have to go back and do such and such. But yeah, he's a great character. I just don't like having to go back to his area.
Yeah.
I can't believe I actually thought of something. Oh wow.
Yeah.
I'm amazing.
All right, with mine, like I mentioned at the end of the last video, the multiplayer was something that I really loved about them adding it to the 3DS version. But something else I would say is just the length of the game, which they kind of fixed in Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon, where they added in several different mansions instead of just one big mansion. Because so when I was little, I was playing through the game, and I remember it taking like it just seemed like such a long game. And I was replaying it a few years ago, and I like went through and beat the entire game in like 4 to 5 hours, and I was like, oh, I don't remember the game being this short. So the thing that I would definitely have changed would have just be the length, because again, I can't really think of anything that was that bad about the game. So with any good game, the worst part is just that it ends, because you want it to keep going because it is so great. So a cop-out answer, I apologize, but that is my thing. I would also say that I would like to have, and this kind of goes with exploring other mansions, I would have liked more of the outside of the mansion to be explorable.
Yeah.
Which is also something they do in Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon. Like, if they would have given you the option to like walk outside of the mansion to like the professor's laboratory or whatever it is, instead of just like having the cutscene or whatever. And
yeah, and there are a few parts where you actually like there's a little bit of the outside, but it's like you go outside and then you like hop into the well, or you go outside and you teleport through the doghouse to get to a boss on the other side.
Yeah, and I don't feel like the story of the mansion was that fleshed out as well.
Yeah. I don't even understand. Like, how did they come upon having this mansion?
Yeah. And then...
What was... Yeah.
Yeah. Ilya, finally with you. Was there anything that you just didn't like about the game? You mentioned that you never played it. What has kept you from actually playing it? Was there anything about it, or...
Is it because it was Luigi instead of Mario?
Yeah. Are you
No, that would actually make me want to play it
Luigi?
more. Usually, if given the option, I prefer to play as Luigi.
The only
Just because I'm the
green-clad-
youngest of 3 kids, so I'm used to playing the extra character. Actually, I was used to watching because I was the youngest of 3. I was very used to just watching, which was fine because I sucked at games for a very long time. Still do, but anyway. I don't know if there was anything like specifically about the game itself that turned me off, other than just like I just didn't have time, or of all the games I wanted to play, like when I got my 3DS, I was like, oh, I could get this, but I would actually rather get these games first. You know, I debated for a long time between Luigi's Mansion and Ocarina of Time, because I was like, I've already played Ocarina of Time, but I'd like to try the 3DS version. I was like, or I could try a new game. But I think ultimately I found Ocarina of Time for a cheap price on eBay, and that's why I got it. As far as anything in the game, the only thing I remember watching that it's not like a turnoff as much as it just creeped me out as a kid. I mean, I literally had nightmares that were quote, triggered by the well and Dead Hand from Zelda, and that didn't keep me from Zelda, did it? Apparently not. Although I do still sometimes cry if I play the Shadow Temple. I don't know why. It's an easy temple, but anyway, dungeon. The one boss that's like the infant ghost, the baby ghost, that one of all the ghosts creeped me out the most.
Oh, I
don't know.
I can hear him crying.
Yeah. Of all of the bosses, that was the one ghost that I was like, what even? Also the concept to me, even as a young child, of a dead infant. It was just like, I'm like an adult, whatever.
What happened to that entire family that they all died in there?
That's what I'm wondering.
Come on, Nintendo,
I get the same thought when I watch Coco. Like, I love the movie Coco, but when you see little kids in the land of the dead, you're just like, what happened to you? Oh, no.
Yeah.
So, off topic, sort of, but when you started talking about the Shadow Temple in the bottom of the well, I just thought of, like, Luigi going and, like, exploring with his vacuum and, like, sucking up all of the re-dead ghosts and stuff. All of the pose and whatnot.
Oh, yeah. I was thinking, like, what if he encountered a Skulltula and he tried to vacuum it up?
I vacuum up spiders. And then I put in, like, if I don't feel like squishing them, I vacuum them up in a tube. And then we stuff paper towels in the tube till they're dead. So they can't crawl back out.
I was gonna say, don't they just continue to live their lives in the vacuum cleaner?
Well, maybe eventually. A roach could.
Yeah.
Because those things survive anything. They
Spiders are
serve
weird.
no purpose to humanity. I don't know why they exist.
That's like, I've lived on my own for 6 years. And one time I had to call my dad to come kill a really big spider, which is hilarious because I had my own place. I lived a half-hour drive away from my dad, and I was like, Dad, can you come over and kill the spider?
Oh, I would so do that. I would so do that. I would go to my neighbor's house and be like, hi, because I don't get friends with my neighbors. Like, I live right next to people, and I'm like, ugh, I'm not talking to you. Ew.
Yeah.
We exist separate lives, okay? Ugh. But I would go to my neighbors and be like, hi, can you come kill a bug? Unless it was like some random old dude. I'd pick someone that looks like they have a family or something.
Yeah.
All right, I think we're ready to move on to our final topic, or the Zelda mailbag.
Mailbag.
Yeah. Very short
Which is-
podcast.
I was gonna say, it's only been an hour and a half.
It's because we don't have our Daniel.
Yeah.
No. And it's not like we haven't gotten sidetracked either. We have. But not, I guess, to the normal extent.
Maybe we get sidetracked more when there's 4 people, because then all 4 of us need to have input on our sidetrack.
That's true. It's not just everyone putting input on the first topic, it's everyone putting input on the sidetracked topic, whatever.
Also, I don't have anything to drink in here. I've just been playing with it, because that's the kind of person I am.
I have like
Oh, I do
one
that.
drink in my Gatorade left. I'm very sad.
I started a new water when we started this podcast. And it's already almost done.
I still think I
Alright.
have a broken toe.
I just got more water.
Nice.
Water is good.
All right, are we ready?
Yeet.
Yeah.
Hey everyone, it's me again, Elia Rose. I just wanted to say thank you so much for watching this video. And you know what? If you're a fan of videos like this, you should totally subscribe and give this video a like and comment below to let us know what type of videos you would like to see us create in the future. And if you would really like to support all of us here at the GameOverJesse channel, please consider purchasing a GameOverJesse t-shirt or becoming a Patreon at patreon.com/GameOverJesse, where you can receive many rewards, such as getting shoutouts, having any topic or theory that you select discussed on the podcast or made into its own video, having your question answered, joining on as a guest on the podcast, and playing with us during our Twitch live streams at twitch.tv/GameOverJesse, and much, much more.